Alrighty, folks. Welcome to another rendition of the Step Brother Sports, the latest and greatest from us, part of the Hockey Podcast Network and the Bills Mafia Buffalo fan-based platform. We're brought to you by Rich Brow Brewing, located at 5 South 20th Street in Richmond, Virginia. That's Richmond's premier Buffalo Bills backers bar. And folks, Buffalo Sabres are still rocking a spot in the Eastern Conference playoff game against the Pittsburgh Penguins tomorrow night, all before the Olympic break, which is around the corner. Newly appointed head coach of the Buffalo Bills, Joe Brady, continues to round out his staff with coordinators and positional coaches. And we're days away from Super Bowl 60, we're all hoping for a Patriots demise. But tonight, though, we're excited to bring back one of our very first guests we've ever had on the show. For all of you who stuck with us since the beginning, he gave us plenty of insight on audio production, some graphic design, and just helpful tips and tricks as we got started back already a couple of years ago. So he previously worked with the Dallas Stars as a producer for the Victory Plus platform and is now still active in the Dallas area sports scene as a network producer for Rangers Sports Network for the Texas Rangers. So, folks, please welcome back Joey Catalano.
Fellas, it's an honor to be here. Proud to be on the part of the founding fathers of guests of this podcast, and just really excited for you guys to see how far this has come, and I'm even more excited for your Buffalo Sabres. Holy cow! Look out for the Saberhood, fellas. Oh my God. I gotta say, they are an awesome watch. Like, I'll throw on ESPN Plus, and like, if I saw a Sabre game, I used to be clicking off it. Now I can't keep my eyes off it. Like, it's unbelievable. I cannot wait.
Just the way it used to be. Just the way it used to be.
I cannot wait. I can't wait to see Tage Thompson in that USA sweater in Milan in a couple weeks. Oh my God, that kid is filth. He's unbelievable.
And he's earned it too, which is the best part. So, Joey, again, it's great to have you back on. So how have things been going, my guy? What's new and exciting down in your neck of the woods down in Texas?
Yeah, tell us about the new gig.
Yeah, tell us about the transition going from the Stars now with the Texas Rangers.
Yeah. So, I was with Victory Plus, and I was super honored that they gave me my start producing. I was doing their pre and post game show for the Dallas Stars, and I had been with the Stars in some way, shape, or form for 10 years, since 2015. And in July, the Texas Rangers came calling and offered me an opportunity that I really couldn't pass up. And I've been with them since, and it's been an awesome journey. I'm really happy where I'm at. And also the TV business right now for all the sports fans out there. I'm sure you're hearing all the different, news stories and everything going on with a lot of regional sports networks, and, hoping to possibly shed a little bit of light on, exactly what's going on with that. It's a very interesting sports story that I don't know is necessarily being talked about.
Yeah, you got some DFW fans chiming in there, so saying hello, Joey.
Yeah, that's a good point.
What's up, guys?
Joey, it's interesting. So, two quick things, and now Chris wants to jump into some cool stuff for you. But it's funny you mentioned that regional sports things on a day in Buffalo where it's announced that the Sabres and Bills radio network affiliation is cut. Basically, the local station in Buffalo, that's had a monopoly essentially over the last, close to 10 years, I would say at this point.
14 years, I think I read. 14 years.
They literally got announced today on social media that is going to be no more. And the team will now be directly putting together radio, like pre, post, game type of stuff. So love to hear your feedback on that. And more so, what a great time to have you back on, because who would have thought in a year where the Sabres are keeping up with the Stars production.
Hey,
I also got to give a quick shout out, obviously, to my squad here, that the Pirates outspend the Rangers in off-season spending. What is going on? I like it.
Hey, I mean, unless you're the Dodgers, your spending doesn't necessarily equal a championship. So we'll see. Listen, I'm not trying to keep the Pirates down or anything, but I think you guys have a little ways to go there.
That's true. Not to get any spoilers about some of the topics we're going to hopefully touch on. But I just figured it's interesting. It's great to have you back on, and how things have changed since the last time.
Yeah. No, I mean, hey, look, the Rangers, I think everyone would say that, that they underperformed last year. They went 81-81. I mean, I was hoping that, they could sneak in the playoffs. They made a little push there in September. But I'm really liking this squad. I mean, the outfield, you got Wyatt Langford, Evan Carter, and Brandon Nimmo. You could do a lot worse in your outfield right now. I'm pretty confident about that. And any team that Corey Seager's on, I think, has a chance to win too. So I'm excited to watch this team, man. I mean, I'm excited, about a lot of the production things that we have going on with the Rangers this year, and a lot of things that we're going to try and stuff like that. But I think, Sean, let's talk in July, as far as records go between the Pirates and the Rangers here. You guys can spend whatever money you want, but the only number that matters is your record, all right?
It's true. Maybe we could have a little friendly wager. I'd be down. I think this is the first year I'd be confident to put a wager down against any competitive type team like the Rangers.
Hey, I have to say this.
That little friendly wager.
Hey, I have to say this to cover my butt here. As an MLB employee, I can't be making any wagers. Can't be making any wagers.
How about beer?
Maybe. Hey, you know what? Maybe we'll make a wager that you got to buy my a day of drinks at Shepherd's down in Clearwater.
That's exactly what I was thinking, actually.
I think that's a wager we can do. I'll have to check with my people to make sure that's okay. But
find out if that's okay.
I hope they don't have a problem with that.
I'll chat with our boy Todd at Shepherd's. I was talking to him earlier. Shout out to Todd Rogie Bear. I'll make sure that he notates that this bet was made, and he'll hold the loser to the payout.
All right, let's go. Let's do it.
Yeah.
Do it.
Good way to start that one off. So yeah, we'll keep that in mind before we get into our DraftKings ad later on there, Joey. But still, a little fun fact. I was kind of going down memory lane a little bit. Our last show with you, Joey, was way back for episode 11. This is episode 74. So already nearly at 75 shows. So we're plugging away here. So when we talked to you that time, Joey, the Sabres, at that point, obviously still an afterthought in the NHL, and Dallas Stars, a wagon. Still a wagon at that point. At this point, currently strong contender in the West. Again, even after the coaching change with DeBoer gone. Now, like we said, right, when they started off the show, finally, Sabres look like they have a chance to get their playoff drought broken. They currently sit tonight, third in the Atlantic. Depending on what Montreal does tonight, they might be first wild card in the East. But either way, they're still in a playoff position going into tomorrow night. So now, Joey, you now watch hockey obviously more as a fan since you work for the Texas Rangers now. So you still keep some tabs on the team, of course. But now, again, what's your take on the Sabres? Finally giving their fans what they've craved for years, the winning team that they can now really just play with just about anybody. I mean, you said it yourself, like they're basically become must-see TV. Like their last three games even against Tampa Bay, against the Panthers on Monday where Sean was actually at, and then this past Saturday against Montreal, absolute bangers for hockey fans everywhere.
Man, like just the sheer fact that the great fans of Buffalo get a nice hockey team to cheer for. I mean, I'm just happy for you guys, man. I mean, like, I was never a Sabre hater. I really wanted you guys to be good. Like, I really want to see Sean in his Buffalo Sabres swim trunks at the swim up bar at Shepherd's. Like, I wanted him to wear those with pride. But no, seriously, like nothing changed other than the general manager. I mean, if maybe these guys just needed a jolt. Maybe they needed, a hard ass to come in there and say, hey guys, none of you were safe, which seems to be what Yarmo did. And they're just an exciting group, but like nothing really changed personnel wise. It just seemed to click. I mean, even at the beginning of the year, it sounds like, at least from where I'm sitting, that y'all weren't cool with Lindy Ruff, that you guys were kind of like, we may be trying to push Lindy out the door, but now all of a sudden you go on that 10, 11, 12 game heater.
Yeah, 10-game winning streak.
Oh yeah.
And look at you guys right now. I mean, it's so great to see. Like, I've always been a fan of the teams that were struggling that now get good, right? Like people are hating on the Florida Panthers because they're too good. They're spending all this money like it's unfair. It's like, dude, I'm so happy for the Florida Panthers. Like they were irrelevant for a while, and now they are the crown jewel of the NHL. You got Matthew Tkachuk there, killing it, and they're full of superstars. And the same thing's happening in Buffalo. Tage Thompson is a superstar. Rasmus Dahlin is a superstar. And they're finally getting the wins, and they're playing the way that I'm sure they've always wanted to. And it's just a really fun time watching Sabre games. It really is. It's really fun.
Hey, we can be in full agreement there, Joey, just because, again, the fan base has just been craving this for so long. I mean, you hear it on, whether it's the local sports talk radio or just any fans just making a buzz out of it too. I have a couple buddies down here in Richmond that I got to know through Rich Brow Brewery, one of our sponsors now, and like big Buffalo expats, of course. So shout out to Hank and Jimmy, of course, if you're tuning in. But everything's just like, what are the Sabres doing? Hey, can we go out and watch a game now? Like, I know downtown Buffalo is probably getting at least somewhat of a resurgence in their downtown scene, because now there's like a thing to do every time. There's a game
downtown's very dependent, as we talked about on previous episodes. Like there's nothing really going on there unless the Sabres are playing and winning, and people don't want to go out after. They'll go out before the game to have a couple pops, but if they don't win, people are going home. But when they're winning, the whole district along the from the downtown down the little subway line, Chippewa. I mean, that tends to pack after the game ends and people dump out, and it really literally pumps that local bar scene right there.
You know what else fires me up? You know what else fires me up? Just saying Ukko-Pekka Luukkonen.
Yeah.
There you go.
Ukko-Pekka Luukkonen. Like that fires me up, just saying that name. Like,
unfortunately, he's not going to be in the Olympics. Breaking news today: he's going to be hurt. He was in line.
Dude got a raw deal.
Ooh.
Yeah,
he's Finnish, right? He's Finnish.
Yes, he would have been the Finland starting goaltender.
Yeah.
Now my guy Mikko Rantanen's got to put 5 in the net every game for them to stay in the game, man.
Yep.
Hey, speaking of Mikko Rantanen, just getting a little bit into the stars on there too, and again, the NHL as a whole. Dallas, again, they're a wagon once more. Rantanen, 66 points already on the season, 19 goals, 47 assists. You got Robertson already potting 30 for the year too. Wyatt Johnson, over 50 points already. You got Lindell leads with plus minus 18 already. Heiskanen, top defender, 36 points. The boys are buzzing. Plus, you got Ottinger in net. Things are looking good. A strong defense all around. What's been the biggest change ever since DeBoer's left after kind of like a messy exit after he said his comments about the goaltending in that Western Conference final?
Yeah, I mean, the dismount was a little messy, no doubt. I think maybe his message was starting to fall on deaf ears. And again, I'm not in the room. I don't have the insider information, but just, as a fan and kind of watching from the outside, and being a hockey fan, it just seems like wherever DeBoer has been in his career, there seems to be kind of a timetable to where he comes in and then he comes out. It's usually about 3-4 years. And he kind of hit that with the Stars. I appreciated him as a coach. I mean, anytime you bring a team to 3 Western Conference finals, you really can't hate on it, right? Sure. With the Stars right now, I mean, you kind of just named everybody, so there's a lot of ways we can go here. But I mean, if you want to start with Moose, with Mikko, I can honestly say, as someone who's been around the team for 10 years, like watching every single minute of this team for 10 years, we have never had a superstar like that in Dallas. Like, yes, Mike Modano is a Hall of Famer and he's great, and I'm not saying Mikko Rantanen is Mike Modano. But the Stars have never had anybody of his skill set that was going to drag them into the fight. You know what I'm saying? Like, he sets the tone, and I don't know if he learned it from Nathan McKinnon or just his time in Colorado, but you see him, man. He he's pissed off when something doesn't go right, or if a play doesn't go the way he wants it to, you see him on the bench. He's like, "Hey boys, let's go, let's figure it out." And he doesn't settle for average. And I think for the longest time, not that the Stars were average, but I think that if they were outmatched, they were like, okay, cool, we're outmatched, and we can't beat them. But that's not how Mikko rolls, man. Like, I was at the game against Colorado when he had that hat trick, and I can say that was the most electric sporting event I've ever been to in my life. And then hearing that call from Sean McDonough on ESPN, Rantanen scores. Oh my goodness, unbelievable! Like that is in my mind, and I get juiced every time I hear it. And he's just something we haven't had in Dallas in a really long time, and it's been awesome to watch. It's a treat to watch him every day. And if you guys hadn't seen the goal that he scored against Winnipeg the other night, treat yourself and go watch it, because he undressed the Winnipeg defender and tucked it in the back post, and it was filthy. It was unbelievable. It was vintage Mikko Rantanen.
Nice.
Hey, we'll do ourselves a viewing favor of that later. Thanks for the heads up on that.
Yeah. And then the other thing too, fellas, sorry, Sean, I don't mean to cut you off, but I know the Robertson thing is a big deal or a big story in the NHL right now. And I forgot who said it. I don't want to take credit for this take. But it was probably like the Jeff Merrick show or Elliot or one of those guys
getting snubbed for the Olympics.
Well, I'm going to get there.
Okay.
The point that one of them made was like, yes, he gets a ton of points, but other than that, you don't really notice him out there, right? Like, he's not Kucherov, weaving in and out of people. He's not McDavid speed. He's just kind of there, and he's always in the right spot, and he's always open, and he's got a rocket of a shot when he gets time, and all he does is put up points. But I think a lot of people want more out of your superstar. Like, I think we expect more out of our superstars. In Chicago, you expect Bedard to carry that team into the playoffs, which is going to be, that's a whole other conversation. But, people expect Connor McDavid and Leon Draisaitl to bring the Oilers into the fight. Robertson is an excellent player, but the eye test you just see him out there. And he puts up points, but he doesn't do anything specifically that you're like, wow. But he's always on the score sheet. And I think that's what people have a lot of issues, or not issues, but like, I think that's what a lot of people have trouble with when they're evaluating him, is like, they say, oh, he doesn't do much. Well, have you looked at the score sheet lately?
Yeah.
So, and people were like, oh, the Stars are in for Artemi Panarin. The Stars are in for Nazem Kadri. The Stars can't do anything until they figure out what they're going to do with Jason Robertson. He's going to command Mikko Rantanen money. And the Stars are going to have to decide, is he worth Mikko Rantanen money? Statistically, he might be, but there is some hang up that I don't know what it is as to why this deal hasn't gotten done yet. And I'm curious, I'd love to be a fly on the wall in Jim Nill's office, but I guess I'll have to wait and find out like everybody else.
Yeah. Yeah, talk a little bit too of him, Robertson getting snubbed off of the U.S. roster for the Olympics, because I know Tage Thompson was his previous tournament that he had representing the U.S. I believe it was the Four Nations, getting the golden goal kind of put him on that team. And then I think Alex Tuck was right in that same conversation.
I think you're thinking of the World Cup of Hockey last summer for the golden goal.
Yeah, that's what it was. But yeah, Tuck and Robertson were seemed to be like the two guys on the bubble that seem to not make it in. What did you think about that? Do you think that they'll regret not having another goal scorer in that lineup? I
mean, I don't know about you guys, but I think the U.S. team has plenty of goal scorers in that lineup.
That's true. Tage's going to be on the fourth line.
I'm going to answer your question with a movie quote. Can I do that?
Absolutely.
You know the movie Miracle? You know the movie Miracle?
Oh, of course. How could you not?
You remember that scene when he's picking the team and Craig Patrick comes in and he goes, "What's this? 26 names. This is the final roster? You're kidding me, right?" I'm not looking for the best players, Craig. I'm looking for the right ones. And in Bill Guerin's mind, Jason Robertson was not the right one.
Same with,
You
you could
know?
same also argue that with like Cole Caulfield.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
There too.
again, the U.S. needs to beat Canada. They put a team together to beat Canada. With all due respect to the other countries, this is a two-horse race, right? Like Canada's building a team to beat the U.S. and the U.S. is building a team to beat Canada. And you have enough pure goal scorers on this U.S. roster. You got Jack Eichel. You got Austin Matthews. You got Tage Thompson, right? Where does Jason Robertson fall in? Is Jason Robertson going to be a fourth line guy with all that talent? Well, if you need to kill a penalty, or if you're up one and you got to send out a suffocation line,
Yeah.
Robo's not your guy. He's an excellent hockey player, but he's not a defensive stalwart. You know, he's not an Essa Lindell. He's not a Roddick Foxa. You know, I'm just comparing Stars guys right now, but like
It all makes sense. I mean,
he's an offensive guy.
Your fourth line grinders, the ones blocking shots, like you said.
Right.
Robertson's not the guy to do it.
Could have been there though.
And hang on, let's put a little respect on all these on all these Olympic guys' names. Like none of these guys are quote unquote fourth line grinders. They're all superstars on their teams. But you know, when you have those all-star teams, you have to have different guys play roles, right? You know, a guy that's first line center on Tampa may have to be a fourth line grinder, go out and protect a 1-goal lead in the Olympics. And I just don't think that that's Robo's expertise. Statistically, we can argue till we're blue in the face that he should have been on the team. Cole Caulfield, all these other guys. But again, Bill Guerin was looking for the right players, not the best ones. And I think that's kind of the mentality that they took. And, you know, as a Stars guy, you want to see the Stars well represented at the Olympics. But on the other hand, this team's gone to 3 conference finals, the last 3 years. So now I'm going to send all my best players to the Olympics, and now we're going to try and make a 4th deep run in a condensed season. I don't know. I'm kind of happy that one of my better players is taking 3 weeks off. You know, I mean, it's going to be. I don't think we're talking about that enough for these teams that are, grinding out, especially in the Central Division with how good Minnesota's got, with how good the Avalanche have become. So now all 4 of my Finns, all 4 of my best players are going to go play meaningful, hard minutes in the Olympics and then come back to Dallas and then have to play Minnesota or Colorado in the first round.
Yeah.
Like what a gauntlet, like that's ridiculous. It is what it is, right? The players wanted to go to the Olympics and, they knew that the schedule was going to be what it was. But I don't know, man, as a Stars fan, we got a lot of guys going to the Olympics, especially our number 1 goalie. I'm cautious about the stamina and how much gas they'll have in the tank come late April, May, that time of year, playoff time.
Yep, absolutely. We do have a segment that we always do in the show. It'll be later in it. I'm actually going to give it out now. We do a segment called "Giving Our Flowers" or "Giving Hate," either one. I have
grind
to give
my
you
gears
flowers.
segment. The grind my gears.
Grind your gears. Yeah, you guys will do yours later, but I want to give my flowers now before we change topics too much. When we had you on the show last time, you gave a really, I thought, a well thought out answer of the main thing that you saw as a Stars, someone that covers the Stars as well as being a fan, and then comparing that franchise and the makeup of the roster and team compared to the Sabres. And I remember one thing you said, and I still remember this, was that you said that the Stars did a really good job of like baking their AHL players.
Overriping their bananas. Overriping their bananas.
What you said. And I have to say, I want to give you credit because I think one thing since that, so like last year's iteration of the team was a little bit different. This year, the Sabres have dealt with injuries. Josh Norris has been known to be a little bit fragile. He's been in and out of the lineup this whole season. He's currently out. Guy who's supposed to be our number 2 center. And right now, Zach Benson's out. They have a lot of guys that are out, but they've had a steady flow of guys coming up from Rochester on defense. Zach Metza has come up. They've had other guys, and he's been here for a long time. But they have these core group of forwards, including the likes of Noah Oslin, former first-round pick, and some other guys like Isaac Rosine that are getting real minutes, not even on the fourth line, but getting
Sean's proving that he knows the whole roster right now.
Yeah, but I'm saying
he's naming the Rochester Americans right now.
I'm just saying in past years, it didn't seem like those guys, when it was whether it be injury call up or just to get a look, they didn't perform. And one of the reasons why I really think the Sabres have been as successful as they have and haven't missed a beat and have gone on these long winning streaks, throughout the last 25, 30 games, those guys in Rochester are coming up and they are contributing in a big way. So I think that's a big difference. And you highlighted that when we spoke. And I think the Sabres are in a much better place because of their guys. Rosine was in Rochester for better part of 4 seasons.
Yeah.
And is now up. You know what I mean? So I think you nailed it on the head. We're seeing some nice returns, some nice ROI on letting those guys. And also, too, Oslin, he's a guy that played professionally overseas, I believe, in like the SHL. So he's played pro hockey before coming to Rochester last year and now being up in Buffalo. So they're not rushing guys up anymore. So if you can, just talk a little bit about that and maybe why that's great. And maybe also, too, shed some light on the Stars situation this year, how your guys have been coming up, dealing with injuries and whatnot.
Well, yeah, I mean, the Stars have really had to dip into their depth this year, no doubt. But to go to the first part of that question there, I think when I listen to a lot of hockey podcasts, I'm a hockey nut. Like, I listen to everything, and you hear guys say that the NHL is not a developmental league, right? Like, you need to be able to play when you get here. But the guys with the Sabres have had, they've been throwing their guys to the wolves for the last 5, 6, 7 years, and they've been green bananas in the NHL. They've been allowed to ripen in the NHL, and now you're starting to see those brown dots on the bananas, right? Like, they're finally starting to ripen, and it's great to see, right? Because you Sabres fans knew that the talent was there. Right? Like, you couldn't be missing on all of these draft picks. Like, it's impossible. With all of these early draft picks you guys have had, there's no way that you guys were missing on all of these, right? Or, like, these guys just needed time, and they've finally gotten it. And to compare it to the Stars, it's like, Rope Hintz, Jason Robertson, Thomas Harley. Those are all guys that were playing in the AHL when they probably could have been in the NHL. But why would you want to push those guys forward when they're not ready? It's like in any job. Why would you want to put some guy on a gig or on a project that they're not ready for, right? Or if they're going to fail, you want to put your guys in positions to succeed. And the Stars formula was the Detroit Red Wings formula from Jim Nill, right? They kept guys in Grand Rapids for as long as they could until they were ready for the Red Wings. And then with the Stars, they kept guys in Texas as long as they could before they're like, all right, like, we can't keep this guy in the AHL anymore. Maverick Bourque was the AHL MVP. What was it, last season, 2 seasons ago? And now he's a regular with the Dallas Stars. Kyle Capobianco is a guy that's come in on the back end. Alex Petrovic for the Stars. Those guys have been AHL guys for a really, really long time. Capobianco was with Arizona for a little bit, but, he was up and down in the minors. But, like, these guys are playing hard, meaningful minutes for the Stars because they've been able to develop at their own speed, and they weren't rushed in the AHL. And I think when these guys are able to do that, it helps your NHL product immensely. And I'm just really happy for the Sabres. I'm really happy for the guys on the Stars that are playing as well as they are. We got a guy, Justin Ritzkovian, craziest name in the NHL, bar none. If you look up his name, you would not get Ritzkovian out of that. But he is an awesome utility guy that he was in the AHL. He played at Northeastern, and he's kicking ass, man. He is an awesome third, fourth line shutdown guy. And he's and he seems to be a really nice dude. And I'm just really happy that these guys are being put in positions to succeed, and it's churning out results for both teams.
Yeah, man. I mean, when it comes to the AHL, especially with the Sabres, I mean, heck, another prospect obviously still marinating with a lot of people still wondering what's going to happen is Devin Levi. And especially with the 3 goaltending situation the Sabres had. You already mentioned UPL. Unfortunately, he's out with his injury. But between him, Alex Lyon, and Colton Ellis all taking their turns just being on injured reserve. And then Devin Levi still just sitting there. Again, a new regime might be thinking, like, what do we do with Devin Levi at this point? Is he trade bait? That kind of thing. But still, he's getting that time in. He's still having a pretty solid season in Rochester at this point. So don't know what's going to happen. But Joey, I kind of want to take things over into the Eastern Conference, of course. It is a freaking log jam at the moment. With the final result in right now, Montreal will take that 3rd spot in the Atlantic right now. Leapfrogging the Sabres, hopefully just briefly, just because they will now have 72 points. Red Wings are down 2-0 to the Utah Mammoth currently right now.
Nice.
But Buffalo plays Pittsburgh tomorrow, and they're still a pretty strong contender in the Metro. But if we're looking at just pure Eastern Conference right here, you got Tampa Bay at the top, got Carolina right underneath them, just barely by a hair, just based on points percentage, of course.
Yeah.
But Detroit, Tampa,
boy
Carolina, 76 points.
A wagon for them boys over there.
Right? Detroit, 72 points. Buffalo, 70. Montreal now is 72. Pittsburgh, 68. Boston, 68. Islanders, 67. Like, even you get all the way down to Columbus, 65. Toronto, and they're not totally dead yet, even though it sure as hell feels like it, 63. Capitals, they're probably at the last bottom tier of it right here, 63 in the Metro. I mean, everybody's razor thin close with the way the Eastern Conference is looking right now. I mean, the West, obviously, you still have your top contenders with Dallas. You have it. Vegas is up there, too, despite having a ton of overtime loser points. Avalanche being a wagon once more. Even San Jose, they're starting to actually make a push to finally be out of the basement, especially with Macklin Celebrini coming up. But, Joey, with the way the East is looking, like, what gives this year? Why does it feel just so much more competitive and razor thin than you think it ever has before?
I just think you have a lot of teams that have been automatic cellar dwellers, like the Senators and, for the Sabres and the Red Wings for a long time. And now those teams are competitive. And there's teams that are supposed to be good, like the New York Rangers, that are fledgling. And because those teams that have been terrible for so long are now in the mix, it makes for good hockey. It makes for good parity. I think that's the only thing I can attribute it to is it's mostly the same players. It's mostly the same core. Tampa is always going to be Tampa. Can never count them out. Florida, I still think Florida makes the playoffs this year. For as bad as they've been this year, I still think they make the playoffs.
I don't want to play them in the first round. I'll tell you that.
I don't think anybody in the East wants to play Tampa or Florida in the first round.
Yeah, and everybody after Monday's game against the Sabres was leaving them for dead just because even just between the gap between the Sabres and the Panthers, it's like 10 points now. But
they're going to get Barkov back. Kachuk is back. They're going to get healthy. It's going to be a problem.
Well, and then another team that was supposed to be terrible, Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh's kicking ass. Pittsburgh is rocking. And it's great to see because I'll be honest, I was kind of on the train that was like, hey, I think Crosby should go play with McKinnon. Yeah. Not that I wanted that as a Stars fan, but as a hockey fan.
Right. You wanted him to move on.
I wanted Crosby to play meaningful games. But yeah, I mean, my answer to your question is teams that were supposed to be bad are killing it, and it's making for great parity, and that's what I attribute it to for sure.
I mean, finally, just because it feels like the Atlantic, the same teams have always been making it. And you mentioned the Panthers, the Leafs have been in there. Boston, they're hanging on barely, but still, the Atlantic has just been an absolute logjam all year long. Sean, go ahead and shoot.
I know. I have a quick follow-up, for the East, while we're talking about the East for a second. The first domino falls today in the trade market. Artemi Panarin gets traded off the Rangers for a.
So I like that move. I like that move.
I do, but they retain half the salary, and they got a third and a prospect for him. And did you at least think, I like the move, but thought that package was a little light for Panarin?
Well, I definitely think I definitely think that LA is obviously getting the better end of that deal. I don't necessarily love it if I'm a Ranger fan. I think
No.
for a guy that's meant that much to your organization statistically, you'd want to get a better haul for him.
Does Drury
But
survive that trade in this year? I don't think so. Right? What do you think about that?
I don't know enough about. I don't follow the Rangers closely enough to
Yeah, sure.
to necessarily comment on Drury's job. But what I can comment on is how much sense it makes for the Kings, because you're losing Anze Kopitar at the end of the year. You know that, right?
Yeah.
He's been your superstar forever. And I'm not saying Artemi Panarin is going to come in and be what Anze Kopitar was, because they're different players. But you're now kind of getting somebody to fill a Kopitar-esque role in LA. You have the go-to guy, so to speak. I think if you ask a Kings fan, they'd like to get a little bit more out of their young guys. But I don't hate the move. If you're a Kings fan, if you're a New York fan, I'm sure you got something else to say. But I think it's a good move from a Kings perspective for sure. Shoot, being from Chicago, I still wish Panarin was still a Hawk. I still wish
Yeah.
Patrick Kane was still a Hawk. But maybe you don't get Bedard if those two guys are still there. So,
True.
They didn't even deserve Bedard at that point.
whoa,
Didn't deserve him.
whoa.
Nah.
Oh, come on now. Come on. That's
Nah.
ridiculous.
A lot
That's
of ghosts in that
ridiculous, guys.
closet in
Come on.
Chicago. A lot of ghosts in that closet there. Yeah,
No comment.
but-
No comment
yeah,
on
I
that.
was gonna say neither here nor there. But
Yeah.
at the same time,
Different
East-
episode.
Yeah, no kidding, man. But the East again, yeah, logjam. It's great to see the parity finally, and the same teams that have always been, like you were saying, Joey, have been like the teams to beat are literally just continuously getting beaten. And
Yeah.
I don't know, Sean, like you were saying, I don't know if Drury personally survives. I mean, I feel like he's just had unlimited like say and power for so long, and he's starting to get like the fire Drury chance at
That's what
Madison
I'm
Square
saying.
Garden. It's wild.
And that exactly. Then you have a trade like this that all the Rangers fans are going to definitely take as consider a loss. That's not going to help things,
But yeah,
Yeah.
I was gonna say, but for transitioning a bit here, so Sean does have his Pirates gear on, but we wanted to obviously give you some shine here, Joey. Again, Texas Rangers. Tell us what's going on for them this coming season. You probably have pitchers and catchers showing up relatively soon. You got spring training right around the corner, then the start of the season. So
Yeah.
what are things looking like
I
for the
do have a
Rangers
question
going
for
into
you,
the
Joey.
season? Yes.
I actually have a Rangers question for you, if I may.
Hit
Yeah.
me. Hit me.
I wrote this down. I wrote it out for you, so I'm going to read it.
Oh.
So last season ends in a little bit of a disappointing season, considering you're 2 years removed from a World Series title. And
Yep.
this offseason, the front office has taken, like we alluded to a little bit earlier, a different decidedly strategic approach, trimming payroll a bit, letting several veterans reach free agency, and adding Kearman Mackenzie Gore, who I'm very high on. Bringing to the rotation, moving on from longtime player Marcus Semien, who's been great, to the Mets, bringing in Brandon Nemo, which you alluded to kind of stabilize the offense. You still have DeGrom, Leiter, and Evaldi, guy who just never seems to get old. He just always has great numbers. But how would you kind of summarize the narrative going into this season for the Rangers, for Rangers Nation, and from your perspective? What are the most important storylines, whether it's young players stepping into bigger roles? You talked about that great, potential outfield with some really good players.
Hang on. Sorry. Hey, sorry guys. I'm getting kicked out of the room I'm in the bar right now. Hang on.
They know who you are?
I was gonna say
No, not exactly, buddy.
in
I'm
a
sorry.
transitional phase right here.
No, you're good, buddy.
For like renting it out and stuff.
I got you. I'm in a rented out spot. So hang
You're
on.
good.
I'm gonna have to go to the phone here. Give me a second.
Live and uncut.
All right, you guys.
Yeah, we got you.
Yeah, live.
Some real
live and
authentic
live and
footage we got
uncut.
here, folks.
Live and uncut. But yeah, so just kind of summarizing, under Skip Schumacher, what should the Rangers fans be keeping an eye on this year?
Man, I'm looking at our pitching staff. Any pitching staff that starts with Nathan Evaldi and Jacob DeGrom, I'm loving it, and you know, I'm really looking forward to seeing this team bounce back offensively. It was kind of a tough year offensively last year for these guys, and you know, I'm looking forward to seeing them run it back. I really am. I think they have a roster that can make some noise in the AL West, and I just really need them to hit. We know they can pitch. We got to see them hit.
Absolutely. Yeah, it'll be interesting. I definitely want to put that bet. I'm taking that bet from you. I know Joey Cat may have to go momentarily, but yeah, definitely. I'm going to talk to Todd, and we'll get that bet. I think we'll just do most wins.
Fellas, yeah, obviously due to some unforeseen circumstances, we may have to make this a two-parter. I'm really sorry.
Yeah, save that Connor Bedard conversation for next time there, Joey Cat.
Yeah, fellas, if we can do this again same time next week, I'll be able to expand it a little more. I really apologize.
Hey, no sweat, man. But hey,
no, you're good, buddy. Appreciate the time.
That's how it be sometimes. But we can kind of continue the stream going here. But Joey, we thank you for your time so much. Hey,
thanks,
enjoy
Joe.
the time in New York. Enjoy being the freelancer that you are until the MLB regular season starts, my dude.
Will do, guys. Hey, appreciate you having me on. Same time next week, hopefully, and we'll continue this conversation. Hopefully, I don't get kicked out of my my podcast spot.
Nah, you got a free access anytime, my guy. So thanks so much.
All right, guys. Take care. See ya.
All right. And anyway, that was Joey Catalano of Rangers Sports Network coming to join us on here. So let's kind of bring this thing around a little bit. I think this will be a good time to do our sponsorship read with DraftKings. So with that, folks, Super Bowl 60 deserves a sportsbook built for the moment. DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of Super Bowl 60, puts you right in the center of the biggest game of the year. Anything can happen during the Super Bowl, and DraftKings has your back with early exit. If your player goes down in the first half, you still get paid in cash when your bet settles. No bonus bets, no waiting. While other sportsbooks don't offer injury protection, DraftKings covers the entire first half, even in the second quarter. And early exit works on live bets too, pre-game or in-game. DraftKings has you covered. But just kind of looking at some of the odds going into the game, right now, Seattle's still favored as 4.5-point favorites right now over New England. And we hope that Seattle can beat them and then some and cover that spread as somebody who's very much actively rooting against the Patriots. I know you are, Sean, of course. But at the same time, hopefully it's just an entertaining product. I mean, as much as it would pain me to see any level of Patriot success happening on Super Bowl Sunday, they do not need another. Excuse me. But either way, let's hope the Super Bowl is not a dud. Like, I don't want to see another Rams Patriots from back in like 2019 happening again.
Yes.
That was probably arguably one of the worst Super Bowls in recent memory, just as far as like it being just a defensive slog. But still, let's hope it's a great one. But for folks that are new to DraftKings, new customers can bet just $5 and get $300 in bonus bets instantly if your bet wins. So download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now and use code THPN. That's code THPN to turn $5 into $300 in bonus bets if your bet wins. In partnership with DraftKings, the crown is yours. And the disclaimer, gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER. New York, call 8778-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY. Connecticut, call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org. On behalf of Boot Hill Casino in Kansas, wager tax pass-through may apply in Illinois. 21 plus in most states, void in Ontario. Restrictions apply. Bet must win to receive bonus bets which expire in 7 days. Minimum odds required. For additional terms and responsible gaming resources, see dkng.co/audio. And that's a limited time offer. And now back to our regularly scheduled program.
I did want to always a great job on the
Go for it, Sean.
So Pa chimes in, although he refuses to comment on the live stream. He likes
putting you on the spot, Pa.
He likes to text. He doesn't help our engagement functions, but that's okay. Pa wanted to just chime in a couple things. We obviously just kind of ended off talking a little bit about baseball. You alluded to that pitchers and catchers are reporting. A couple interesting headlines. A couple definitely being featured and being talked about are both Detroit, Pa's team, and Pittsburgh, obviously. Pittsburgh, it's no secret, anybody who's an MLB fan, that they have the number one prospect in all of baseball in Connor Griffin, a gentleman I will soon be getting his jersey. He's expected to compete for the starting shortstop job and or center field. He can play both, and expecting to potentially, fight for a roster spot at 18 years old. The guy is, they're saying, the best prospect to come out since Mike Trout, which is pretty lofty praise. The Pirates also have been named recently by Baseball America as the number one farm system now in terms of their prospects. And just some top headlines from today. A lot of stuff happening. Tarek Skubal, reigning Cy Young winner in the AL, as opposed to my guy, Paul Skeens, in the NL. Skubal may be on the block. Detroit has just made a move to sign Framber Valdez from formerly of the Astros, a 3-year deal, reportedly for, I believe it was $115 million. As Pa talked to me earlier, that they didn't want to pay Skubal $30+ million a year and then give out like $38 million or some crazy amount equal to what he's allegedly looking for. Potentially, but then that'll be a free agent contract. He did go to arbitration, so they're waiting on the ruling there. Detroit looks like they have a stellar pitching staff, probably only to be rivaled by Pittsburgh's this coming season, so that's interesting. But also, the Pirates just missed out. They were supposedly in the sweepstakes for Eugenio Suarez, who was big bomber guy who has hit 35+ home runs, was really the top offensive free agent left. He ended up going back to the Reds, but now there is a report from some Mets Twitter pages or X pages saying that and Pod did report this too, that the Pirates are looking to possibly target either Brett Baty or Mark Vientos, potentially in a trade that could see Mitch Keller go back the other way. The Pirates definitely have the pitching depth to make a move to bring in a bat of that caliber. So it'll be interesting to see what they do there. But yeah, baseball is shaping up. It's going to be an interesting year, especially for our Pirates.
One thing I want to bring out, you mentioned
series,
the Mets, of course, too. I was a little disappointed again as I hopped on the Toronto bandwagon a little bit more than I ever have this past season, just with their World Series run, of course. Obviously, it was a little sad to see Bo Bichette sign that 3-year deal with the Mets, of course. But again, I mean, unless you're LA, like Joey was saying earlier, like just buying their players as much as they can. I mean, hey, maybe you needed a change of scenery after that really rough Game 7 loss. I mean, especially after a couple of like dud playoff runs even prior to last season. I mean, that one will sting, but I mean, it's not like Toronto still doesn't have the talent at this point still. I'll be very curious to see if Scherzer is still going to be kind of a mercenary pitcher, if he'll return to Toronto again. I know he's still kind of up there for that. But still, I was a little sad to see him go. I feel like he was one of those iconic players for the Blue Jays these last few years, especially with like that next generation of players with like him and Vladdy. And I know Biggio, even though he was more like a AAA guy more than anything at that point, like the three of them coming up after just having like their fathers play, I always thought was a pretty cool thing, especially when they played in Buffalo the 2 back-to-back seasons in the Bison Stadium. So again, a little sad to see Bo Bichette be a New York Met now at this point, but hey, you never know what can happen.
You should just be a full-time Pirates fan. We have room for you. We have 5 series we're going to this year. Or no, 4? No, either 4 or 5.
I'll have to confirm that with Pa.
I have
just to make sure.
I have.
There you go. You would know. But still, yeah. Pirates. I mean, I'll always love a good trip to PNC as it's currently your backcourt. But to kind of transition,
quick, speaking of Pittsburgh,
sure.
Did you want to leak the information about something that we have coming down the pike, or no?
Oh, why not? Just because we already are teasing it a bit.
Tease it.
Oh, so anyway, Pa said you have 4 series packs right there. But anyway, for the NFL draft in Pittsburgh this year, we are looking to take maybe the two of us, along with a couple friends of ours that might join us, to attend maybe a couple nights of that draft this year. Still working on getting details for making sure we can get ourselves situated with some lodging and making sure we can get to the event within a reasonable amount of time. We're still learning more about how to do that. So if anybody in the chat wants to chime in to give us a little bit more info on how to do so, feel free. I've already signed up for the email listing for how to do that with the based off of what they have on the NFL's website for how to get into the draft. But if anybody else knows more, feel free to shoot us a message, folks. We're always
maybe a lottery situation.
Yeah, let's hope not. We'd like to just be able to go. But still, on the topic of the NFL, I've kind of bringing things full circle now with the Bills. I mentioned at the top of the show when I was talking about the most recent events, the Bills with Joe Brady. He's really making the rounds on a lot of the big media shows. Whether
Radio Row, Super Bowl week.
Yeah, he was all over Radio Row. I mean, heck, even the first day when he had his press conference last week, he immediately went on to Pat McAfee. I mean, he's gone all over, and I like I said last week, I really loved his energy. I still think that's kind of infectious from there. I was kind of encouraged just how he really wants to incorporate the downfield passing. I know that was one of his lines that he gave during an interview, but obviously they need the personnel to do so. I was also encouraged. Again, I want to give a shout out to Tyler Dunn. He had a great article with Brandon Beane and Joe Brady, kind of going inside the process of the interview for Brady and the other candidates they had. So check out Tyler's article at golongtd.com on that. But still, he outlined how Brandon Beane didn't really care about outside perspective. I'm like, he might care a little bit, just a little bit, of course. But still, what was I thought fascinating was that obviously you heard that word alignment a bunch of times in the press conference last week. But I do think if they are really committed to this downfield passing, and if Beane is really looking to take an aggressive swing on things, he kind of really outlined it in that article, in that interview he had with Tyler Dunn, that looks to be something that the Bills could do this offseason. I mean, whether it's in the form of like a massive trade, maybe moving up on up the draft board this year. I mean, I'm hoping that obviously, again, wide receiver is still like the big ticket item, of course. I mean, you obviously still need a premier edge rusher because that's still been leaving so much to be desired. But still, Sean, what are some takeaways you've had from Joe Brady's staff that he's had come through? Obviously, Pete Carmichael being named the offensive coordinator. He's worked very closely with Sean Payton, who Joe Brady considers to be one of his biggest mentors for coaching at this point in time. Excuse me. But then also a big name for the defensive coordinator, Jim Leonard, former Buffalo Bill, who we actually talked about last week, if he was going to be the guy or not. He is indeed the defensive coordinator, as well as a few other positional coaches that a lot of people have tend to really like on there as well. But give me some of your thoughts as far as like how these coordinator hires are being received towards Bills Mafia.
Yeah, I think that I mean, we talked about it in the last episode that his coordinator hires were going to be very crucial for the success of this team, and overall with the demotion / firing of Sean McDermott and the promotion of Brady into the head coaching spot, that a lot was riding on those hires to not kind of be underwhelming. Obviously not having defensive coach, you're going in a different direction from a head coach perspective. So like they had to have a strong D coordinator come in. And so I really like that they went with Jim Leonard. There's a couple people that we're regular viewers of their content. We consume it as fans that have talked at length about Leonard. But actually, you know who it was? It was, oh my gosh. The guy that we had met at MafiaCon, Anthony Prohaska.
No, that was
Was it not him?
From Cover One. Maybe
Cover One.
Anthony Marino. Shoot.
No. His name was Anthony too, the guy with the glasses. But he basically.
Oh shoot! Sorry to you, man. I want to make sure to give you to you when we can find you. Look that up. I'll see where I'll see who he is.
Yeah. Anyway, but he talked about it. I saw something that he went on. I believe he is on the Cover One network, but he basically had talked about why Jim Leonard was a great target, even like more than a year ago about how he's just an up and coming defensive coordinator, especially with the great work he did at Wisconsin as a D coordinator there for multiple seasons. And then he was just an up and coming rising star. And I think there's been a little bit of a common theme with these hires. So Jim Leonard comes in as D coordinator, very well thought of guy. Carmichael comes in, a guy that has history with Brady and has basically been assistant head coach and then basically a senior offensive assistant in the past couple years. It has extensive OC experience and a guy who, like I said, has worked directly with Joe Brady. I think a steady, seasoned veteran with a guy who's not going to necessarily Joe Brady has already come out and said he's going to be calling the plays, but having a guy with a bunch of OC experience and a good working relationship together, really like that move. And even some of these kind of the sub moves, like we brought in today, we named our QB coach, came over, same job with Titans, been working with Cam over there in Tennessee, the rookie this past season. Special teams coach, well thought of veteran offensive line coach.
Sorry to interject. By the way, Anthony Marino from Cover One, but then also for folks who do tune into
it's not
Cover
who I
One
was
regularly,
talking about, by the way. It's not.
So either way,
yeah.
Big important thing. If you are somebody that's very into watching the salary cap for the Bills right now, Cover One with Greg Thompson, who we've had on the show in the past, he's doing his annual big salary cap discussion show as we speak right now. So if you want to tune into that, maybe after you're done watching us, definitely check that out because you can see how the Bills can really manipulate the cap this year in so many different ways and see how they can be active in free agency or the trade market this year too. So definitely don't want to miss that one too, folks. So shout out to the guys over at Cover One. Sorry to interject.
No, you're good. It's Anthony Prohaska. I nailed it. He was on WGR. There's literally a video of him talking about Jim Leonard. So we met him at MafiaCon very briefly. He was sitting at our table for a moment, our booze table with TG, with Tim Graham. But anyway, that's a really good watch. They had him on WGR. Jeremy and Joe had him on, and he kind of just talked about what he had seen. But I mean, I like all the hires that they brought on so far have been guys that are either well thought of, rising guys that have been long overdue. In case of like Leonard to get a crack at being a DC for those in the know, and then also guys with extensive experience like a Carmichael, like our new offensive line coach who came over. He was a longtime offensive line coach with the Steelers before. I forget where he just came from now. But also there's the rising guy. He was named our receivers coach, a position that we know we've struggled at since the departure of Chad Hall at that position for, having success there. This guy, I believe he came from the Cardinals or San Fran. Did you see that hire? Rising star receiving.
Yes. Oh shoot, what was his name?
Name escapes me. We can look it up.
Do it right now. Sorry,
also,
folks.
As Chris Maz does this, we got 630 people watching live right now, just under an hour. We mentioned it here earlier. We had kind of got thrown for a little bit of a curveball with Joey Cat having to jump off early. So anybody who has Bills, Sabres, Joe Brady questions, MLB questions, Super Bowl questions, quick shameless plug as Chris Maz looks this up. We will be having at our sister show, The Line is Hot, on Friday and back to our regular scheduled 9 p.m. slot. We're doing a Super Bowl extravaganza where we'll be talking all your best bets, score, spread, under, over, prop bets on this Friday on the Built-in Buffalo Network. So tune in for that. But yeah, any questions that anybody has, feel free to shoot and we will get to them.
Sorry, just bear with me while I'm looking this up.
Yeah, I'm trying. He's just been. He was
Drew Terrell from the Cardinals.
Yes, Drew Terrell. He's been very well thought of. So whatever, and I have to wonder, being that Joe Brady doesn't necessarily, and I'd like to hear your opinion on this, Chris. Joe Brady doesn't necessarily have like this reputation. I don't think around the league, maybe within the Bills brass to name him the coach, as a kind of a young upcoming star, rising through the ranks quickly with the Bills org. But like, I don't necessarily think that these other guys at other organizations view him as like this, earth shattering guy, but you get to come and play with Josh Allen. And I think that is you're basically stealing top star talent at coaching at these, lesser coaching positions, and they're coming to the Bills. You're stealing these guys from other organizations that are like, they're well thought of people, like a Jim Leonard, like a Terrell.
Credit to Drew Terrell. He made Michael Wilson a 1,000-yard receiver this past offseason. I was just talking friend of the show, Carl Eppers, about this because
Marvin Harrison trade.
Marvin Harrison. You never know with that. But Greg Dortch, also born and raised in Richmond, Virginia, went to school in Henrico County Public Schools here in the Richmond metro area. So he may be somebody to consider as well as a trade target as well. He makes a living as a pretty solid wide receiver 3 option. So, hey, never know with what we can get out of Drew Terrell, of course. But still, I overall like what they have so far. Again, you could say anything. It's like when you draft your fantasy team for the first time, and you're like, oh, this looks really good on paper. But again, until everything is executed out on the playing field, of course, or they actually make the moves in free agency, whether it's through trades or the draft, what have you, or heck, even if it gets down to something in the trade deadline. That obviously goes without saying there too, of course. But kind of wrap things up a little bit more. Just Sean, for some Super Bowl bets, obviously, this week you got quite a few things on the line that you could have as far as parlays go. Give a little shout out to our sponsor again, DraftKings Sportsbook. They have a couple pretty solid looking parlays you can hop in on right now. But I want to hear like maybe a take from you as far as like what might be a good bet for you right now. So this one is one I was looking at earlier, the triple option bet. So again, this is on DraftKings Sportsbook right now. Currently, that is plus 525 for the odds. $10 will pay 62 at this point. So the triple option, count on one player in each of these listed combinations to find the end zone on Sunday. This was one that really caught my eye earlier. Either a Cooper Kupp or Stephon Diggs to score a touchdown. Then you'll need Hunter Henry or Kayshon Boutte to score a touchdown. And lastly, you'll need Jackson Smith-Njigba or Rashid Shaheed to score a touchdown. So all very realistic things that could happen. But at the same time, what are some things you're looking at as far as maybe a take for the game? Obviously, you can feel free to pick the winner. I'm going to go Seahawks, of course. I think they'll easily cover the spread. But any other major hot takes you have for the Super Bowl going into this week?
Yeah, a couple. So obviously, please tune in Friday, and we'll do a whole hour plus deep dive of this game. It's the most bet sporting event of the whole year. Obviously, people have their picks. They do the squares, all that jazz. It's a great time. Commercials, obviously. So there is a couple bets that I really like. I'm in agreement with you. I do think the Seahawks are going to take it this year. I just think that the Patriots are at least a year away. I don't really feel like they deserve to get there this year. Although you play who's in front of you, they got there. They won. So I'm not going to take anything away from them. But I do think that, and I know he participated fully in practice today, but Drake May is a little banged up. His shoulder's not at 100%. Obviously, he's going to do what he has to do to get out there and play. But I do like Seahawks to win. And, if you're going to throw a bunch of money on it, I do like the obviously Seahawks money line. If you're the type of person that wants to maybe bet a little bit heavier, if you have the means to do so, I like doing a parlay with the under over and a tweaked spread in both scenarios, almost like a teaser, where I believe at current it's a 4-point spread, like you mentioned, for Seattle as the favorite. I like buying a whole touchdown, and basically, even if I don't see any way that the Patriots blow them out. I think it's just a 1-score game if the Patriots were to win. So because of that, I like the Seahawks getting 3.5 in case the Patriots do win on a field goal and squeak a game out. I think that's the only way I see the Patriots winning. I just think that this year the Seahawks are just too good on both sides of the ball and on special teams. I just think they're the more talented team overall, and that's no knock on the Patriots. I just think that they're the better team. So I like, Seahawks money line, Seahawks getting plus 3.5, And then as far as the under over goes, I believe at the moment it's at 45.5. I would tweak that down to maybe over 39.5. So do over 39.5 total with Seattle getting plus 3.5. It's a nice little parlay with those two as a 2-team parlay. You're going to be getting more than even money. And then some of my favorite prop bets that I like Drake May over 13.5 longest rush several times, including against the Bills. He's used as that athleticism that he does have, albeit not necessarily on a Josh Allen level. But
it's ultimately how he sealed the AFC Championship too, with his legs. I mean, especially when the snow kept coming.
We just saw it happen, and in a game like this, where first downs and keeping the possession is absolutely crucial. I do think that his over rushing total, and then also, like I just mentioned, his over 13 yards. I mean, I could easily see him having a longer rush than 13 yards. So I like his rushing total. I don't know exactly what that is at the moment, but look at that. But over 13.5, I think that's a pretty safe bet for him to break one off. Especially in a man coverage, the Seahawks can play. They have their back to the quarterback. Never a good thing if your quarterback can escape that first wave of front pressure from the line and linebackers, especially if they're running in coverage. Should be fairly easy. Another one I like. I'll give one more props. I don't want to give all of them away. I do like.
And by the way, tune into The Line is Hot, folks, for our sister show to get more of these.
Yes, Friday at 9:00. I like Ramondre Stevenson to get a touchdown. His anytime touchdown is plus 140. I think he's their goal line back. So although, as Bills fans know, who were gashed by their rookie by 2 long touchdowns,
Travion Henderson. Hey, Richmond, Virginia.
Travion Henderson, great running back. I like Ramondre Stevens to get one in close. And then also, I think my other favorite bet is the Seahawks team total bet. I believe you can get that at about. You could really buy it anything you want, but I like them over 19.5. I like the Seahawks to get to 20 points, and that also kind of feeds into me thinking that taking over 39.5. I think both teams should be able to get close to 20 points in this game. I don't think that's that big of a stretch. But I like Seattle's offense just a little bit better.
Yeah, so both defenses, like you were saying, they have a chance to make this a much lower scoring game. So taking the under is probably a safer bet, of course. But hey,
either way, you got to tweak it. You tweak it and go under, or tweak it and go over. Either way, help yourself.
For sure. To wrap things up, again, we already teased a little bit of this before. So you did the Give Their Flowers segment already, of course. But for our Grind Our Gear segment, just as we always do, brought to you by Larger Than Life Blooms, because size matters. When it comes to something that is grinding my gears, we've been blasted here in the Richmond and mostly in the entire southeast area of the United States, blasted by snow, but not just obviously snow, but ice that came with it. So freezing rain, sleet, but predominantly the freezing rain, which caused at least a solid 2 or more inches of ice on the roads. It's finally just thawed out. And what has truly grinded my gears is that now it's been, easily over 10 days. And today was the very first day that we had a snowplow come down my street and to finally clear up our road. And it wasn't even a real snowplow. It was literally a front loader, farm equipment vehicle. It looks like somebody was hired to do it. It wasn't even a real snowplow. And it was just some dude just going maybe 5 or 10 miles an hour. But I mean, after 10 days, an entire county infrastructure where I live isn't able to bring that out sooner. I get it that you're trying to handle the main roads a bit more, but man, 10 days for a snowplow. I mean, obviously we're spoiled. We're used to seeing snowplows growing up in Buffalo. That's just part of the average everyday thing. It's you better have gone to school if there's a few inches of snow on the ground too, right. Of course. But still, after 10 days, finally getting it plowed, I thought that was something that truly grinded my gears, along with a lot of other areas around here too. It's just the South can't handle the snow. I'm sorry. You guys can have your 100-degree heat and bask in that and sweat all day long. I will take the winter all the time over that too. But man, get some better snow plows. That's what's grinding my gears. Shawnee V, how about you?
Yeah, I don't really have too much of a gear grinding to do tonight, but I obviously gave Joey Cat his props that were much deserved on his take about the Sabres letting their prospects cook a little bit. But you know what I wanted to do is I do want to give out another shout out to a business partner of mine down in Fort Lauderdale, which I just returned from earlier today. So I wanted to give a quick shout out to All-Star Van and Car Rental Service in Dania Beach, who they actually got me a really nice gift as I left earlier today. They got me a autographed Tony Baselli Jacksonville Jaguars uniform, the Hall of Famer. Definitely, probably the most well-known Jaguars player aside from like a Mark Brunell or Maurice Jones-Drew that you mentioned earlier. So shout out to those guys. Anything you might need as far as like car rentals or, like I said, a van, look them up. They're in Dania Beach. And again, it's All-Star Van and Car Rental. So shout out to those guys. Thanks so much for the jersey.
Yeah, love that. That was a pretty cool story for how you got that too. But with that, folks, that's going to do it for us tonight. Tune in for us next week. Joey Cat may be joining us again as well, just because you obviously had a few finishing thoughts that you wanted to have. But what we're also going to have in store for us, it's obviously going to be a post-Super Bowl show. This will be next Thursday, February 12th. But Zach Jones and Derek Kramer from WGR Sports Radio 550 will be joining us. So good friends of the show. We can't wait to have them on to talk all things Bills and Sabres and then everything else in between, of course. But Shawnee V, any parting thoughts before we wrap things up for tonight?
No, it'll be interesting. We'll do a little bit of prep work to see what they can or cannot say about the recent news with their radio station.
I'll speak a little bit on that because I was listening earlier today. It sounds like a lot of their day-to-day stuff, like a lot of their shows, are going to remain unchanged. I heard, somebody asked Jeremy White on air that this morning because they were just curious what changes that there might be. But like he also mentioned the fact that WGR he's been there long enough where he's seen them get the Bills coverage and then have it for a period of time, which they've had, and now they're going to no longer have it. But then they'll still do pre and post game coverage. Same thing with the Sabres. So. From my perspective, just based on hearing him say that, I don't think it's going to be much of a change as far as their programming goes. At least I hope that's not the case because I obviously enjoy much of what WGR still has on the airwaves too. But still, we're looking forward to having our friends on next week, Zach Jones and Derek Kramer. But until then, as always, folks, let's go Buffalo.
Let's go Buffalo. Go Sabres. Keep it rolling.
Yes, let the warpath continue going into that Olympic break.